All right, so the Alpha Draconians are from the constellation Draco. The beings that come from the Alpha Draconian system are reptilians, Livgarians, and Draconians. Now, these beings all come from Draco, and I want to stress to you that some of the beings that we're going to cover may have had kind of a bad rap. If you've heard, ooh, reptilians are taking over the world or whatever, right? Everyone is on their spiritual journey, and I need you to know that some reptilians, just like any other kinds of beings, any other kinds of star seeds even, they have free will just like anyone else. They can choose a service of self, they can choose to be a bad entity, or they can choose to be a good entity that helps to uplift and all these things. So just because you hear these terms and they sound a little bit darker doesn't necessarily mean that they are. So they're just like any other person, any other starseed. I want to give you some characteristics of some of the reptilian starseeds because they're actually more common than you think. More common than you think. A lot of times starseeds don't even know that they're starseeds. But the classic Alpha Draconian starseed would be drawn to science, math, and technology. They are leaders in their fields and in their communities. They have trouble with higher authority than themselves. When they're not in alignment, they can be manipulative and money hungry. When in alignment, they can create extreme cohesiveness, like a team with a common goal. They can really rally people up to work together. They're very talented at leading and building and coordinating efforts. They always finish what they start. Alpha Draconian starseeds are also attracted to reptiles, amphibians, and dragons even. They may have lizard-like eyes or features or long, thin bodies. Sometimes starseeds will actually share some of the physical attributes of the beings in which they resonate with. Alpha Draconian starseeds may also have a lower body temperature. They may prefer warmer climate. They may be adept at being a chameleon in life, fitting in where they need to, blending in when they needed to. They usually find jobs in politics, military, construction, architecture, or some other form of law enforcement or community leadership. And the ships for the Alpha Draconians, the ships are usually dark black or cloaked, triangular shaped with pointy edges. Now, the concept of reptilians, I'll jump right into this since they are a part of the Alpha Draconians. The concept of reptilians was highly popularized by a book written by a conspiracy theorist by the name of David Icke. I-C-K-E. David Icke. His book was written about shape-shifting reptilian aliens who were attempting to control the earth by gaining political power and control the population. So his book was pretty much stating that our government that's in power are reptilian aliens in disguise, right? So although there are reptilian aliens, you can't just base your truth upon a book by one person who has obviously gone in a certain direction with his whole career. You know what I mean? It's good to bounce things off of different areas because one person may not hold all the answers. And I'm just saying, guys, let's take it as it resonates. David Icke and what he writes doesn't resonate with me because I've heard other stories about reptilian beings who are extremely benevolent. I don't necessarily think they're trying to take over the world through President Biden, okay? I don't, but it could be true. Who knows? I'm not the all-knowing one, you know? It has been written about over centuries dating back to ancient cultures, okay? Ancient cultures of reptilian monsters, of dragon men, of serpent men, 7 to 8 feet tall with manly, muscular bodies covered in scales and with reptilian heads. These things were written on the Egyptian pyramid walls. You know what I mean? These have been noted over generations and cultures and lost ancient societies. Okay, reptilian humanoid beings. So I want to say this about them. The ability to shape shift, what they give me on this, the ability for them to shape shift is very likened to them being able to disjoint themselves, kind of like a snake or a mantis. They disjoint themselves and they're able to slither and slink away into these dark spaces. They are, in fact, and I just want to give you this, they are known for abductions. They are, due to interrogation, medical procedures, and also they do have military involvement. Military is involved with reptilians, like full-on reptilian beings and hybridization programs, and we'll talk a bit about that. Reptilians are warriors. They're very strong, but they're also very cunning. They have less of an emotional attachment than others. And this would also kind of show itself in the Starseed version of that as well. Just a bit less emotional, more left brain analytical, and assertive and dominant. Very active and physical. A lot of reptilians have like military background or law enforcement because they're very physical beings. I know of a couple of different hybridization programs that are involved with this species, and it's not an indication of, oh, reptilians are bad, they're hybridizing people. Many races are hybridizing with humans. I know of people who are actually reptilian hybrids, and the government did it to them. They found out in their early adult years, their parents were veterans in the military under secret ops, this and that, and they were asked to genetically modify their offspring. And the military, member consented. Countless times that this is being reported, it's just now coming to light. So there are reptilians that are hybrids with people. There are hybrid programs to harvest the eggs, to create little babies, not necessarily just reptilians, but with other species as well. The military has done a lot of different programs without us knowing, without the general population knowing. These things are all under a very strict wraps, and there are programs where they raise these hybrid children who are born with these weird characteristics because they're part alien and part human. They're born with physical characteristics. They definitely can't fit into society, most of them, but they also have special abilities like being able to telepathically communicate or remote view or psychically perceive or heal people or change the molecular structure of something. These children are being bred by the government to be used as weapons. And I cannot say if that has been successful or not, but that is definitely something that is happening. And so I believe you guys and everybody needs to be aware of that. I know that they force the shape-shifting change on some of the hybrids, and it's extremely painful. And then to shift back, it's very painful, whereas when they experience that in a natural state, it is not painful for them.